Oh, hello and welcome to another IELTS speaking practice video. So today, class L43 is going to do their regular speaking practice. It seems like only Mr. Trúc is here. Mr. Trill, I'm not so sure. Maybe he's busy, but probably, let me check. No, he hasn't seen the message. Okay, so only Miss Trúc is doing her practice now. Never mind that. Let's go to part one of IELTS speaking practice first, and I'll ask you something here about newspapers or reading. So, Ms. Brooke, do you often read newspapers? What do you often read about?
I didn't read newspapers so
Newspaper.
often
Newspaper.
because you, I don't read newspaper so often because I don't really interested in reading news or
You're not
something like
interested in reading
that.
news, I say.
I, pre- I prefer reading books and
Notebook
watch television
and watch TV, right?
programs.
Watch television programs, I say. So
Yes,
do you prefer reading magazines or newspaper and why? Magazine, you know.
I think magazines seem to be more attractive
Attract.
than
Hmm.
newspaper because because there are many pictures in magazines. I think newspapers usually um us- uh, usually show uh, only works and it seems boring.
Hmm. So it seems word, just words. Sometimes you find like pictures, but it seems a bit boring. Yeah, I understand. Now, so how important do you think the news is? Remember, the news means it include everything. That's why it's like with S, you know, the news. The news actually include news from TV, news from TV, news from newspapers, news from online sources, like for example, news from TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everything, and also news from the radio as well, or anything that bring you news, it's called the news, okay? Tất cả những cái gì mà nó tạo thành nguyên một cái cục gọi là tin tức, thì tin đến từ bất kỳ một cái nguồn nào nó đều là tin tức cả. And remember, the news here is singular, okay? So ít nha. It's treated like a singular thing. All right. So how important do you think the news is? Like everything, not just newspaper, okay? The news mean every news from all the sources, all the sources. So how important do you think the news is? Without reading news, would humans survive well? Or we are literally clueless about what's going on around us. Some people they just don't read news. They are absolutely clueless. So what do you think?
Those I don't pay so much my attention on news. I know that it's quite important to keep people updated on
Mhm.
current events through news. Yes, it's come from TV, online sources, radio, and many media, uh, and many media
Sources,
provides
I mean,
that have people that have people spend their understanding of various topics
The various
from
topics in life.
politics to
Mhm.
from politics to
Politics. Politics.
science
It's
and
pronounced politics, okay? Chúng ta
politics.
gọi politics.
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 To From politics to sports, you can talk of sports, thể thao, news about sports, of crimes, about crimes, những vụ phạm pháp. Recently, there has been a lot of attention on, new rules related to traffic, like new rules and regulation. Những cái điều lệ mới hoặc là những cái luật lệ mới. So new rules and regulations are put in place. And recently, people talk a lot about it. So how important do you think the news is?
Yes, because people need to be updated. News that's crucial for people to read news on or they can watch news on TV. I think it's a useful sources those that appeal more people than just read
That appeal
uh,
to more people that appeals to more
appeal
people than just like what?
than just read online or newspapers because there are many examples, many um, uh, pictures they can watch and some daily news that
Mhm.
affects
Affect
people life
affect
just
people's life.
affects affect people lives just
Affect people's lives.
affects people's lives
Very good. It affects people's life. Yeah. Like, can you
just
give examples?
yeah just as James in laws of
Changes in
first
laws.
changes in laws. For example, new laws in traffic traffic laws in Vietnam um, make people change their habit so much. I think it's in a good way because the fines for every grams has been in, increased.
Has been increased greatly, actually. Greatly increased.
Yes,
And
it
yes.
yes it if people don't be informed, they can they can be fined a lot because they don't allow the laws
They don't what?
and they don't allow the laws.
You mean abide by the law? Không tuân thủ hả?
They don't
So if you
allow.
don't abide by the law, tuân thủ pháp luật. Okay. But there is also another word. To obey. Obey. Are you trying to say that word obey? Obey means like tuân thủ mà không hỏi lại, tuân theo răm rắp luôn á. To obey means tuân lệnh. It means that you do obey it. It means that you do not ask questions about it, even though sometimes it's wrong. You just follow it. To follow the rules, you just follow it. All right. So next question for you is, what is the best age for children to start reading? So what do you think? Is it as early as possible, or what's it called? Càng sớm càng tốt hay là sao? As early as possible, or maybe 6 years old, or maybe when do you think is the best age for children to start reading? Reading here can mean reading newspapers, reading books, reading magazines, something like that, you know?
Uh, from in my opinion, I think that children should be educated how to read in their early age. Maybe 3 for age or 4 old,
4 years old, 3 or 4 years
4 years
old.
old. Yes, when they begin to uh, begin um to, to talk, begin to learn about things around them. Their parent can introduce their to books by reading aloud to them some simple information, help them cultivate their knowledge, and it's good for them to learn how to talk.
It's good for them to learn how to talk. Agreed. And so it's like if they do not read, they will not know what to talk about, you know. Nếu mà không có đọc thì làm sao biết nói gì được, you know. So a lot of people are clueless about a life because they don't read, they don't talk to people, you know. Không nói chuyện, không đọc sách thì làm sao mà nó có cái gì để mà nó có thể nói được, right, you know. So it also affects like other skill as well. But the question asks what is the best age? So you're right, maybe about 3 or 4 years old. Okay, so next question for you is what kind of books do you often read?
Usually read uh,
Well, you can talk
novels,
about ebooks or maybe physical books, you know.
novels, especially detective genre. I
Detective
like
Conan, journals. Remember, journal are specially.
genre. Oh, I means I love detective
Mhm. Genre, you mean?
genres.
It's called trinh thám. It's called detective genre. No, I don't think so. It's a genre, genre,
Genre,
genre,
genre,
genre. Thể loại,
genre.
thể loại phim, nghệ thuật, âm nhạc. So it's a genre. It's a French word again, of course. So sorry. Do you think it's easier to read news online than in newspapers? Why? Why not?
If talking about reading online and newspaper, I think will will choose reading news online. Nowadays, I think almost of the people
Most of the
use
people, most of the people. Yeah.
most of the people use a smartphone and something like iPad, uh, laptop, uh, that they can easily to access
They can
information
easily
online.
access. They
They
can
can
easily access.
they can easily access
They
news
can easily
online.
access something. Mhm.
And buying newspapers seem to be more mm, expensive for people than just read online free. And I think that's why many people uh, read choose to
They
read
choose to read online. Yeah.
news online.
And also reading online is free. A lot of the time it's free, you know.
Yes, because it's free. is free, so their information seems to not reliable.
Seems not very reliable. Eh?
Yes,
Hmm.
and that's require people uh
They need to think, use their
to
brain.
need to choose carefully what they what they accept.
You mean choose carefully what to accept as
What
truth, right? Chọn cẩn thận cái nào để chấp nhận như là sự thật. They have to choose carefully what to accept as
yes,
truth, right?
what to believe in.
Very good. Choose carefully what to accept or what to believe in. Yeah, exactly. So, what kinds of information in newspapers, books, magazines do you find the most useful? Do you find most useful? Why?
And in the past, uh, when I read newspapers
Mm,
or magazines, I think that um the article about mm, products that
products.
people product advertisement
Mhm.
that catch my attention so much because it can help me to think about what I should buy. You know, magazines can show the mm, functions and the outlook of any device or products uh, they advertise, and I can save my time. I
Save.
don't need
I can
save.
save
I can
my
save
time.
my times a lot because I don't have to go directly to the shop on the store to choose uh, things that I need to buy because sometimes I just want to mm, preference before I before I decide to buy things. If you go to the store, uh, s- some sellers will follow after you, and I think it's not comfortable at all.
Okay. Right. But I think I think this question they ask about like when you look at a newspaper, for example, or when you look at book or magazines, what part of that you find the most useful? So I can say that, okay, I can look at the table of contents, những cái gọi là tóm tắt nội dung á, bảng tóm tắt nội dung á. So the table of contents include like what's inside of that newspaper or what's inside a book or what's inside a magazine. Like for example, if people look at my book sách giao tiếp tiếng Anh giao tiếp cơ bản, if they look at my English books here, they will need to look first at the table of content here, cái mục lục. And of course, they need to look at all the units here. Yes, I'm writing my new book now. Bây giờ đang viết sách giao tiếp nè, đó các bạn. Okay, and based on this one, they will decide if the book is worth reading or not. Dựa vào cái bảng mục lục người ta sẽ biết được là cái sách nó có đáng đọc hay không đó nha. So I think this one is the most important, but it depends also on what you think too. Sometimes they are part of magazines or books that you want to read. Like for example, a lot of people they just turn to the sports sections, to the sports or lottery section in newspapers. Rất là nhiều người họ có báo một cái là họ xoay qua liền cái mục thể thao hoặc là cái mục mà vé số á. I turn to the sports or lottery section immediately because they love to look at that. They love to see if they won the lottery or not. Họ muốn biết là họ có thắng won the lottery or not. Thắng vé số tức là trúng số hay không. Họ biết họ có trúng số hay không, you know. And also they want to know about their favorite team, their favorite football team, whether they won or lose, you know, thắng hay thua. And of course, a lot of people they bet, you know, to bet means cá cược. A lot of people they bet for their favorite football team, so they want to know if they won or lose, you know, their money. All right, so and also it depends on what you're interested in actually to answer this question. Nó tùy vào cái mà người ta hứng thú về cái gì nữa. Like some people they are interested in news about science or news about new laws and regulations. Có nhiều người thích hứng thú về cái tin tức về thể thao, về những phát minh mới hoặc là về những cái liên quan đến luật lệ mới, something like that, you know. Or sometimes
Yes,
people just want to know about news about celebrities. So what do you think?
I think that's if um, talking about informations that useful, I think the first space which many hot topics will be shown that keep people update, such as about sport, celebrities, personal lives information, and hot uh, topic about politics.
Politics. Chính trị.
Politics,
Politics. Yeah.
yes, such as uh, uh, such as uh, mm, about presidents on a president in American
America. America.
Americas
America nha. Okay.
elections in some nations
Mhm.
that catch people attentions,
Yes.
and that's why the first page on newspapers or magazine will show the hot topics. And I think it's quite useful for people to choose um, to buy a newspapers or a magazine uh, based on their first base.
Mhm. All right, I see. I see. So, right, let's move on to part two and part three, shall we? This is okay, it's good enough. Okay. Let me just write down the topics first. This is 90. Yes, 90. Okay, part two and part three. Let's try okay, 115. Okay, it's a strange topic, right? Describe a time you did something guilty to a person in your family. The time you did something guilty to a person in your family. You know, guilty and not guilty. Miêu tả một thời điểm bạn làm cái gì đó có
It's a
lỗi.
mistake.
No, no, not just a mistake. Guilty means you do something really wrong to a person. So you can use the word to wrong someone, làm làm sai, làm lỗi với ai đó. To wrong someone as a verb, you know. So you did something guilty to a person in your family. You should say what you did, when you did it, what happened to that person, chuyện gì xảy ra với cái người đó, and how you felt about it. Bạn cảm thấy nào về đó? Like think about as children, sometimes we did something really wrong and then the others have to be punished instead of us, you know? There's a term. It's called scapegoat in English. Scapegoat. The scapegoat. The scapegoat. The scapegoat means con dê tế thần. You know about it, right? The scapegoat means like the perpetrators, những kẻ thủ phạm, những kẻ thủ ác hay là thủ phạm. The perpetrator sometimes they use the scapegoat to escape justice, to escape punishment, để tránh bị phạt, tránh bị trừng trị. They use the scapegoat, a lot of the time they do that. So this question is about that. A time you did something guilty to a person in your family, okay? Like for example, you broke something in the kitchen, and then you said that your brother or your sister did it. Đổ thừa ai đó làm, ví dụ làm bể đĩa xong cái đổ thừa anh hoặc là đứa em nó làm chẳng hạn. You know, this thing happens a lot in families. Okay, part 3. Why do people often feel guilty after making a mistake? Tại sao con người ta thường cảm thấy có lỗi sau khi phạm một cái lỗi sai? Okay, so we have some words. So for example, innocent. Innocent. Vô tội. It means not guilty. So of course, guilty means you feel that you have sinned. So there's another word. It's sin means tội lỗi. The word sin is connected to religion. Cái từ này liên quan đến tôn giáo. Tội lỗi. It's related to religion. Like for example, you go to the church xưng tội to confess. Sometimes you confessed. Xưng tội. You confess with a father, với cha xứ. All right. So why do people often feel guilty after making mistakes? You need to explain why. Do you think feeling guilty can help people improve their behaviors and how? Bạn có nghĩ là cảm thấy có tội, có lỗi có thể giúp con người ta cải thiện cái hành vi của họ không? Well, think about what would happen if people do not feel guilty at all and they just continue doing it, and hurt other people, harm other people. That's even worse. If they feel guilty about what they do, they will try to be better. They try to be better next time, I think. And you should give examples about it. Like for example, if they how can I say, if they run the red light, vượt đèn đỏ, chạy vượt đèn đỏ. If they run the red light, of course, and there's no police at all, they should feel guilty. Otherwise, if they do not feel guilty, they will continue doing that. And sometimes accidents can happen. Accident happens because of those people. Accident happen because of those people who do not feel guilty. So think about those things. Okay, are there any cultural differences in how people deal with feeling of guilt? Có bất kỳ sự khác biệt về văn hóa nào trong cái cách con người ta đương đầu với cái cảm giác có tội không? Think about in Vietnam, if people are guilty, how do people deal with that feeling of guilty? Do they talk to their friends? Do they write it down in their no, in their what's it called, diary? To write down in their personal diary. Viết nhật ký cá nhân. Or do they go to the church to confess? Go to the church to confess? Or do they go to the pagoda? Đi chùa. Sometimes people do that to deal with a feeling of guilt. If they did a lot of bad things. A lot of people in Vietnam go to the pagoda a lot, to pray because they knew that they did a lot of bad things. Mấy người càng làm ác nhiều, càng đi chùa nhiều thiệt luôn á. A lot of people is like that. I know it's a fact. People can argue about it, I don't care. But people need to acknowledge those facts. Now, and also think about different cultures, like for example, in Japan or in Korea, South Korea, sometimes people, if they feel guilty, sometimes they kill themselves. They commit suicide. Họ tự tử. They commit suicide. Okay.
Suicide.
They commit suicide. Họ tự tử. Okay, I should put a dot here because when I copy this thing to our group chat, I don't want Facebook to ban me for 90 days. Phải đặt một dấu chấm hay là gì đó ở đây để mà tách ra, để mà lúc mà copy nguyên đống này lên trên nhóm Facebook á của lớp mình á thì không có bị ban Facebook 90 ngày, mệt lắm. Those words like death, like Nazi, like suicide, like guns, those are words, sensitive words that you can get you banned. Mấy cái từ nhạy cảm thường là có thể dễ bị làm cho mình bị ban Facebook 90 ngày hoặc 60 ngày, 30 ngày gì đó nha. So you have to be very careful. Okay, think about other cultures like in the West, people often go to church to confess, đó là phương Tây. And sometimes they just keep it to themselves. Keep it to themselves. Keep it to themselves. Giữ trong lòng cho bản thân họ thôi. They just keep it for themselves. They just keep it to themselves. All right. And think about different cultures. Okay, can feeling guilty have any negative effects on a person's mental health? Cái chuyện cảm thấy có tội á, có lỗi á, cảm giác tội lỗi có thể có bất kỳ cái ảnh hưởng có hại nào lên trên sức khỏe tinh thần của một người không? Think about the fact that they always have to deal with a feeling of guilt. And does it affect their interaction with the other people? Does it affect their confidence level? Think about that. Confidence level. Mức độ tự tin của họ thì sao? Nó có bị ảnh hưởng không? Think about that. Mental health mostly. Does it cause insomnia? It means sleeplessness, sự mất ngủ. And sometimes, a lot of the time, it can cause people to abuse drugs, to abuse drugs, lạm dụng thuốc. Sometimes they can abuse drugs, and that is real bad. That is real bad because that can lead to addiction. Addiction. Sự nghiện ngập. It can lead to way worse things. Okay, and how can someone deal with their feeling of guilt in a healthy way? Làm thế nào để ai đó đương đầu với cái cảm giác tội lỗi của họ trong một cái cách mà lành mạnh? Well, a lot of time it's actually healthy to talk about it with someone who will never disclose those secrets, to disclose a secret, công khai một cái bí mật. You know, to close means đóng lại, disclose means làm cho nó phơi bày ra, công khai ra. Disclose a secret, it means that you tell it so that everybody knows those secrets. So it becomes a common knowledge. Nó trở thành một cái kiến thức mà ai cũng biết rồi. Nó trở thành một điều ai cũng biết, cho nên nó mới common á, nó mới gọi là chỗ nào cũng thấy ai cũng biết. All right, but you need to talk to sometimes you need to talk to a psychologist, you know, psychologist. If you have a problem, you need to talk to a psychologist, nhà tâm lý học. No, psychologist là bác sĩ tâm lý chứ nhầm, sorry. Bác sĩ tâm lý khác với nhà tâm lý học nha. So you need to talk to a psychologist if they have some feeling of guilt, you know. Because if you feel guilty and you keep it for yourself for too long, it can lead to mental health issues, you know. Nó có thể dẫn những cái vấn đề mà sức khỏe tinh thần rất là nghiêm trọng luôn á, rất là nghiêm trọng á. Mental health issues, like for example, depression, sự trầm cảm, or what else? Sleeplessness, yes, sự không ngủ nổi, không ngủ được. But this question focus on how do you deal with that feeling of guilt in a healthy way, you know. A lot of the people they choose to do physical exercises, you know. Hoạt động thể chất đúng rồi, cho nó mệt, nó khỏi phải suy nghĩ nhiều. If you do physical exercises, you become very drained. You become very drained out and super tired. So you won't think too much about your guilt, something like that. All right, some time to think about this topic, please. Okay, Mr. Please describe a time you did something guilty to a person in your family. Let's try that.
Yes, I want to. I would like to mention a wrong behavior that I make and make me feel very guilty
Mhm.
towards my sister. I lost a lipstick that I borrowed from her. There was a time when I had to attend a co-worker's wedding party.
Mhm.
And because I had to go directly from work to the practice, I
Party,
had
the party.
to the party and I had no time to go home. So I had to borrow my some of my sister makeup products. Unfortunately, I lost the lipstick that I borrowed her, and I couldn't remember when or where I lost it to find it again. I feel very guilty because of my carelessness.
My
As my
carelessness.
sister,
Carelessness.
my carelessness. My sister had trusted me and lent me her personal item, but I didn't take good care of them. Dorothy didn't yell at me, but she was quite sad and made me feel even more guilty. Thus, I bought her a new lipstick after that. I hope her will forgive me, but I think I will never repeat this mistake again.
Okay, good. So why do people often feel guilty after making a mistake?
Feeling guilty after making a mistake is a normal
Natural
emotion.
thing, right? It's a natural
Yes,
thing that people feel.
because that's reverse the belief of every individuals. People are educated that um, uh, making mistakes is making mistakes mm, usually is lead to bad consequences.
Consequences, bad consequences.
Bad bad consequences not only for themselves but also for people who can be affected. And as moral and ethical standards, people believe their behavior goes contrast. Um, their principles are ethical standards, and that make them feel guilty. For example, for example, such as lying to someone or breaking trust can make people feel guilty because they know that honesty and trustworthiness are
Honesty and
important.
trustworthiness, right?
Honesty and trustworthiness are important.
I agree that too. Cái tính mà trung thực và đáng tin cậy, đáng tin á, is of course very important because without honesty, people won't trust you and give you jobs. Your life will be very bad from that point on, Cái cuộc đời mình nó trở nên giống tàn tạ luôn, người ta không tin mình, người ta không giao việc cho mình, không đưa cho mình được cái gì cả. Cuộc sống như là giống như kiểu mà nó không gọi là bị người ta xa lánh. Well, your life you'll be isolated if you're not honest, or people feel that you are untrustworthy. Now, so do you think feeling guilty can help people improve their behavior and how?
I believe that feeling guilty can help people improve their behavior
Mm,
because once people feel what they do are wrong,
mhm.
they can adjust their behavior in a proper way.
Proper
Guilt,
way, you mean?
yes, proper way. When um when people self reflect their behavior,
Mhm.
they will they can differ from right and wrong
You mean
to
differentiate, để phân biệt, to differentiate,
differ
differentiate,
differentiate.
to differentiate, differentiate, to differentiate between the right and wrong, phân biệt được cái đúng và cái sai, phân biệt giữa cái đúng và sai. Okay, they can differentiate, 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 differentiate.
Yes, yes, people can differentiate between the right and wrong, so they can handle similar situations better in the future. And besides that, feeling guilty is also ar- mm, arise the sense of responsibility for
Mhm,
people actions. Acknowledge, acknowledging and taking responsibility for their mistakes
mhm,
allow people to make a, a mental growth
mhm.
and work on better decisions making. in the next time.
Okay, I agree with that. They can improve their behavior. Of course, they can try to be a better version of themselves. Try to be a better version of themselves, trở thành một phiên bản tốt hơn của bản thân họ. All right, so are there any cultural differences in how people deal with feelings of guilt? Let's talk about different countries then.
Hmm. I think that different countries, different cultures allow people to recognize mis- their mistakes and how they deal with it quite differently.
Mhm. I deal with it quite differently, I say. Anything else?
For some Asians, people usually feel guilty, but they find it hard to uh, to
Yes.
n- to uh, to show to show their mistakes and and mm, they know that they make mistakes and they feel guilty, but they usually don't brave enough to talk about this to others. They
They're
can
not brave,
silently.
of course, suffer in silence, they say. They sometimes they suffer in silence, chịu khổ một mình trong yên lặng. They suffer in silence, chịu khổ trong yên lặng. Of course, this thing happens a lot. Okay, and what else then? What other cultures can you talk about?
mm, Maybe because that is quite common personalities of Asians. So I think it's not good for their mental health. I think it's people feel guilty. They should talk about this to uh, just just some people who they believe in, and they can discuss about that problem. They can share their story and find the mm, the solutions.
Mhm. And
I
find a
think
solution.
yes, the feels of guilty. The feels of guilt is not comfortable at all. So if they silently suffers, it can make their mental health becomes weak, and that affects so much on their life.
Mhm. That affects their life so much, yeah. All right. Of course, it affects their life a lot. Now, so can feeling guilty, but you only talk about one culture, right? Think about Western culture as well. People often go to the church or pagoda. What do you think about that?
Uh,
Is that a good way?
uh,
Is that a good way to deal with guilt if you go to church or pagoda and pray? Sometimes people try to deal with a feeling of guilt by doing charity work, doing charity work, làm từ thiện. And people think that they will feel better about themselves. They won't feel the heaviness. They won't feel the heaviness. Cái sự nặng nề của cái tội ấy. So they don't want feel the heaviness or their sins anymore. They think that if doing by doing charity work, their sins will will disappear. What do you think about that?
I think it is solutions for many people because they believe that the ghosts will forgive their behaviors, and that's that sometimes make them feel better. Even though I don't think that's always a good idea,
Mm.
because when people feeling guilt, that means they do wrong to others, and the first thing they should do is make the wrong things become right things. I mean, they need to make up for their mistakes by doing something that right. That's right. They can do charity work, of course, but they need to make up for their people who they do wrong first.
Okay. But trying to substitute, there's a word to substitute, thay thế, to substitute something with something else. Thay thế cái gì đó với cái gì đó khác. It means to replace something with something else, to substitute something with something else. Thay thế đó. Some people they substitute trying to deal with their guilt by doing charity work. Một số người họ thay thế cái chuyện là ráng đương đầu trực tiếp với lại cái cảm giác tội lỗi của họ bằng cách mà làm từ thiện như hạn. Do you think it will work? Instead of dealing with their fear, their guilt, and try to do good thing, they substitute it by doing a lot of charity work, putting a lot of money into churches and pagodas. In Vietnam, it happens a lot, and in the West as well, I'm sure. Rồi nhiều người làm ác kinh lắm nha, xong rồi bỏ tiền vô chùa, vô nhà thờ các thứ, thay vì là trực tiếp là gọi là đương đầu với lại cái guilt đó, cái cảm giác tội lỗi đó, Okay, Mr. So can feeling guilty have any negative effects on a person's mental health?
I think that feel feeling guilty has many negative on
Effect.
effect on a pers- person's mental health because because people can blame themselves for a- for the mistakes they did.
The
Of
mistake they
course,
did, yeah.
it's right because when they do wrong, they need to accept and find a way s- to adjust their behavior. But but guilt, the feel of guilt, if it's become too much, it will cause anxiety and depressions and contribute the the
Development
development of uh, in sadness sadness, worries, and sense of inadequacy. And if
inadequacy. You mean inadequacy? Inadequacy.
inadequacy,
What does it
inadequacy,
mean inadequacy? Like you mean they are not good enough to do something? Cái sự cảm thấy là mình vô dụng, cảm thấy
không không
không có
đủ,
đủ lực để làm gì ha. The feeling
kiểu không
that
đủ
you're
tốt á.
inadequate.
Not good, not good enough.
Yeah, the feeling of being not good enough. The feeling of the lack of confidence to do something because you feel like you're not good enough, right?
Yes.
Inadequacy. Yeah. Good, good. Very good. You know how to use some fancier words now. Good.
And if the situations become worse, it's also influence on their physical health issues. Stress can affect physical uh, problems, leading to sleep problems such as insomnia. That's that can cause to that can cause many others health problems. And besides that, feeling of guilt also isolates is also uh,
Isolate.
isolates people from society because they feel that they not good enough for anyone to communicate with others, and the fears of you can arise judgment. They cannot trust themselves and the affair of being judged, making it difficult for individuals to make decisions or take actions because they fear making other mistakes.
Okay. And think about the health problems that can be caused by feeling guilty, you know. Sometimes people they just can't get away from it. You know, people who are involved in the war, they kill people, you know. Soldiers. Of course, they have PTSD. They have post-traumatic, traumatic post-traumatic stress disorder. You know what it is? Hội chứng căng thẳng hậu chấn thương. You know, they often have it. It's like it keeps on haunting them. It keeps on haunting them day and night. Nó cứ ám họ hoài suốt ngày và đêm, mấy cái hình ảnh cũ, mấy cái hình ảnh mà chết người, mấy hình ảnh mà bom đạn hoặc là người máu me tùm lum á, nó cứ keep haunting them day and night, you know. Those pictures, old bloody images of a war, of killing people, it keeps haunting them day and night. It's not a nice thing at all. What do you think about that?
I I think that is really terrible feelings because they can't do anything. They're they're guilty. They're guilt haunting them, keep on haunting them day and night, and they don't have time for others' work. They just suffer from it, and it makes their life becomes a a mess.
Their life become a mess. Exactly. Thực sự là mấy người bị mấy cái mental health, bệnh feeling guilty á, cái cuộc đời của họ giống như là một cái đống hỗn độn luôn á, chính xác luôn á. It can isolate them from the other people, you know. And also they feel terrible, absolutely terrible, you know. Cảm thấy đúng là tệ luôn á.
Think they should be assisted by psychologists.
Exactly. Assisted by psychologists. Right. So how can someone deal with their feeling of guilt in a healthy way?
My opinion, I believe that the first thing people need to do is they need to stop avoiding reality and
Mm-hmm.
start accepting and correcting their mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Once they can do that, their feels of guilty, their feels of
You
guilt
mean your
will
their
be
feel
decreased.
of guilt, right? Guilt
Yes, their feelings of guilt will be decreased.
will decrease. Okay.
Recognize that guilt is a natural emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Accept it without any judgment.
And it's
Allow people any judgment,
judgment.
any judgment, any judgment. Allows people to understand the root problems and begins to tackle it. I think it's good if people reflect on the situations that cause the guilt, because if their feelings mm, and their feelings about and their feelings of guilt can be addressed the real the real problems, the real situation that lead to that mistakes. They can learn lessons and learn to prevent similar situations in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, people should learn how to forgive themselves,
Mm-hmm.
treat them with kindness and understanding, because everyone make mistakes. What happened, happened. So the
Happen.
important
Cái gì nó diễn ra thì nó đã diễn ra rồi. Yeah. Whatever happened, happened. Whatever happened, happened.
and
Whatever
it's
happened, happens. Okay.
what happened happens. So the important things they need to do is correct their mistakes to some extent. If they can't totally recover the influence they cause, they can reduce the consequence in some way and find the forgiveness from people who they make mistakes. I think that's the only way have people uh to
Yes. To
escape
deal, to
from
really
their
escape from their feeling of guilt.
yes, to escape from their feelings of guilt.
And also, I think one other way that people can deal with a feeling of guilt is to be near to nature and children, because children, they are innocent, isn't it? So maybe looking at children, people can be more connected to their inner child, to be more connected to their inner child. Liên hệ, người ta sẽ cảm thấy có liên kết liền với lại cái đứa trẻ bên trong họ, and maybe they love themselves more, they will not feel guilty anymore, I think. All right, good. Let's continue with the next topic. I'm coughing now, you see. It's a tough one. All right, I think 111. Interesting. I thought we did 111 already. Okay, so describe a vehicle you would like to buy. Miêu tả một cái phương tiện bạn muốn mua. Bạn muốn mua một phương tiện nào? A vehicle you would like to buy. You should say what kind of vehicle it is. Nó là cái loại phương tiện gì vậy? And describe briefly. Briefly here means shortly, you know. Describe briefly the vehicle. Miêu tả ngắn thôi. Cái phương tiện là phương tiện gì? How you plan to buy it? Làm thế nào bạn lên kế hoạch mua nó được? How you feel about this purchase? Bạn cảm thế nào về cái sự mua sắm này? And you have, okay, there's part three of vehicles. Vehicles, remember, vehicles, okay? Chứ không là vehicle nha. Vehicles, vehicles, những phương tiện. All right. So what types of vehicles will be popular in the future? So this is a question that asks you to predict. So think about this one. 10 years ago, we didn't have electronic vehicles, right? Làm gì có xe điện. Electronic cars. We didn't have that 10 years ago, isn't it? Or it wasn't very popular. But these days, you can find electronic vehicles, electronic motorbikes. A lot of them, isn't it? Isn't that the future? Think about the fact that we have the metro in Ho Chi Minh City now. Should we be able to have like more public vehicles, public transportations in the future, maybe? You know? And do you think the safety standards of vehicles need to be improved? Why not? Anh chị có nghĩ rằng những cái chuẩn về an toàn của những phương tiện cần phải được cải thiện không? Tại sao không? Think about the fact that there are safety measures, những động thái hoặc là những phương pháp bảo vệ an toàn. There are safety measures on vehicles, like for example, the airbag, túi khí trên xe hơi, túi khí trên xe hơi. You know the airbag on cars, but should there be airbags on every vehicles? You know, like for example, airbags on motorbikes, airbags on bicycles. So when people fall down, the airbags will just inflate, you know, and then help them to prevent getting hurt. Họ té xuống thì cái túi khí sẽ phình lên ngay tức khắc trong vòng 0.3 giây chẳng hạn, để cho ngăn ngừa không cho họ uh, bị té xuống đường xong rồi chày xước hoặc là ảnh hưởng tính mạng chẳng hạn. Should there be that airbags, something like that? So that is one of my suggestions to improve the safety standards of vehicles. Maybe there should also be cái thắng đĩa, cái thắng là cái the brakes, you know, the braking mechanism, the brakes. It means cái thắng. So the brakes of vehicles should also be made with the most durable material, you know, because you don't want your brakes to malfunction. When your brakes malfunction, you know, malfunction là nó có vận hành nhưng nó vận hành sai cái chức năng mà người ta đã sản xuất nó ra. When your brakes malfunction, it can be very dangerous, you know. Like imagine if you have to brake but your brake malfunction, it doesn't work the way it should be, you can get into an accident quickly and you can hurt yourself, you know. Very bad accidents, you know. So think about that. One more thing, I think the safety standard of vehicle need to be improved is that let's say everyone in Vietnam, when they go with their bicycles, they have to wear helmets. It's a must. Should be just like when you are riding your motorbikes. Đi xe đạp cũng phải đeo nón bảo hiểm nha. I think this is one of the things that people must follow. But however, the police will not say anything if people go on bicycles and without wearing helmets, like students, for example. They won't say a single thing. But because Vietnam is not that strict yet. Việt Nam chưa đến mức mà khó như vậy đâu. Học trò đi xe đạp mà không đội mũ bảo hiểm cũng đâu sao đâu. Nhưng mà từ từ sẽ có sao. There will be a problem soon. Or one more thing, maybe I think people should improve. Let me think for a moment. There should be a limitation. There should be, what is it called? Safety standards. Think about, sometimes you lose your bikes, you lose your motorbike and you don't know where they are. There should be a tracking device installed on their vehicles. Có những cái công cụ để mà track á, nó gọi là tracking device, nó gọi là cái công cụ để mà định vị những cái phương tiện nếu mà bị mất cắp ấy. The tracking device installed on their vehicle, so in case of a theft, in case of a theft, the police can find those easily. So that should be one other way. There could be several other ways that you can improve the safety standards of vehicles. Think about that. Now, next question. What do you think about personal vehicles compared to public transportation? Anh chị nghĩ gì về những phương tiện cá nhân nếu được so sánh với là phương tiện đi lại công cộng? Well, I'll let you do it. Now, which mode of transportation do you prefer on any trip? Anh chị thích cái loại hình phương tiện nào hơn trên bất kỳ chuyến đi nào? So think about trip here means like you go on a trip, a vacation, a business trip, or maybe a trip just to the other city, for example. Which mode of transportation would you prefer? By boat, maybe, by train, by airplane, đi bằng thuyền, đi bằng xe lửa hay đi bằng máy bay, something like that, or going by motorbike, something like that. Why? All right, you should think about this one. Okay, Mr. Please describe a vehicle you would like to buy, please.
I would like to recommend a vehicle that I think not only me but many people should purchase. I I think it's Mini's electric car from VinFast brands is an ideal purchase for many
And
people.
so what would happen in long term? You never know when these things will crash. They will be when they will be broken. We never know. But it's
It's
your okay, but it's your thinking. I'm not gonna stop you.
yes, because I think that the the benefits that it brings, uh, at least currently, will appeal many people focus on it. Because first is currently priced as approximately 300 million Việt Nam đồng, and this is a bargain price for for a car. I think this this vehicle runs on electricity, so it will eliminate fuel costs and contributing to environmental protection. Because it's a mini car, so it's very convenient for urban commuting under its has two seats, so it's suitable for one or two people to use. And in dr- and I'm considering an installment plan because there are many promotions when purchasing this new car model, since the price is not as high as traditional cars. Um, so I think the installment barriers will be shorter and I can fully afford it. I find this car model very suitable for middle income individuals because it's affordable and ideal for one or two users with features functions comparable to higher price model.
Mhm. I see. I see. I see your point now. So what type of vehicles will be popular in the future? What do you think?
In the futures, I believe that um, price uh, price priceless car and behind uh priceless vehicles will be popular in the futures. And because the development of autonomous driving technology,
Autonomous driving technology.
autonomous drive,
Autonomous.
autonomous,
Autonomous. Autonomous.
autonomous.
Autonomous driving technology. Ok, công nghệ lái tự động.
Hmm.
Yes, what about it?
People will not to um will not to have to monitor their vehicle anymore. Uh, s- I think such as uh, artificial intelligence can help them to rise their vehicles, and this vehicle armed to offer functions such as IR operations in heavy traffic. They will have people to update the routes. They will commute and help them to prevent from abundant vehicles routes expand expand their uh, road
Expand the road, you mean?
expand uh, their roads from it's become more spacious for their uh, behind uh, vehicles because they don't to mm, get in touch in traffic jam.
Okay. All right, so they will not get involved in traffic jams, I think, because these are autonomous, okay? So do you think the safety standards of vehicles need to be improved? Why not? Please dig deep into the safety standards. Please try to talk about like airbags, about brakes, about like compulsory helmets, bắt buộc phải đội mũ bảo hiểm, compulsory helmets wearing, or something similar to that. Or there should be safety standards on lights on those vehicles. Những cái đèn ở trên những cái phương tiện đó nha. Think about that. So what do you think?
Things that safety is always important. So the safety standards of vehicle should to be improved. About talk about the airbag.
Airbag, airbag.
Airbag.
Mhm.
It's only equipped
Equipped,
in
equipped.
equipped in a big vehicle um, such as car and I don't know that bus have airbags in uh each seat.
Mhm.
So I think that it's quite important to equip airbags for every seat on public transport. Besides some besides some simple safety equipment such as seat belt.
Seat belt. Okay, why didn't I talk about seat belt? Oh my God, I should have talked about it. Seat belts. Okay. Dây an toàn ở ghế ngồi. It's a seat belt. Of course, they should talk about it, right? Like, should there be seat belt on what's it called? On motorbikes and bike as well? What do you think? Xe máy và xe đạp có nên có seat belt luôn không? Có nên có dây an toàn luôn không? You think?
I don't think that motorbike and uh, bike should have seat belts because it's not convenient for people uh, to escape from their vehicles
Mhm.
when any emergencies happens.
Yeah, I see. But most of the time, people just fell down because without seat belts, if you go on motorbikes, you just fly, you literally fly out of your vehicles. If you slam onto the road or you slam into some kind of thing on the road, or even a rock, if you drive on the rock, you can just fly out of your vehicles and then you hurt yourself because you fell down onto the road. Phần đông thời gian là nhiều khi chỉ cần một cái hòn đá bự thôi, bay một phát là bay ra khỏi xe xong té xuống mặt đường. Mà nếu có seat belt thì sao? With a seat belt, what do you think? Maybe we would be more safer. What do you think?
I don't think
Okay,
it's
this is something to be
risk.
debated about.
Yes, I don't think that's reasonable. I mean, people should um hold on to the uh, the motor the motor by hand handle
Yes.
hand uh if people sit in the background of the motorbike or bike, they should hold on to the people who monitor the vehicles.
To monitor the vehicle, really? Interesting idea, I think. What else can you add? Is there anything else you can add? A safety standard. Can we improve even further? Còn cách nào để cải thiện độ an toàn của những xe không nhỉ? Like for example, không nên like for example, you should nên phát triển cái hệ thống để chống đụng xe chẳng hạn. Maybe there should be systems in which to prevent collision. I think it's already there. Anti-collision. Collision. Cái âm đề Z nha. Cái âm đề Z nha. Collision. Anti-collision technology. Nó gọi là công nghệ chống va chạm, chống va đập. Va, sorry, va đập. I wrote đa vập. Công nghệ chống va đập. Okay, there should be anti-collision technology. So motorbikes or bikes will not collide into each other on the roads. Or maybe car, they should have that one as well. Okay, so next question. What do you think about personal vehicles compared to public transportation? Let's compare the good and the bad of each of them then.
Of course, personal vehicles and public transportations have their own benefits, and that depends on the aim of each individual. They will choose
Individual?
what
You mean individual?
individuals they will choose what's suitable for them. If talking about personal vehicles, um, of course they are flexible and convenient. Personal motorbikes offers us convenient and allow people to travel with our any brief schedule or routes. They can go anywhere. Uh, People can go anywhere they want with their personal vehicles,
Mhm.
and they don't pay other fees
Mhm.
for
They don't have to pay other fees,
the
right?
fees other fees for their service. And of course, personal vehicles allow people to use anytime they want. And so it's very convenient for people to mm, control manage their time. They don't to depends on uh time depends on others' times and the feelings when traveling in their own vehicles can be more comfortable and because they expect a longer trip and people can bring many personal belongings than usual because it's their um, personal items and they can do anything with it. Of course, um, when it come to public transportations, it will cost effective. It will be cost effective because public transportation is quite affordable. That
Affordable. It's quite affordable. Affordable.
is quite affordable than owning personal vehicles. They don't to take care of their items. It also eliminates expenses like fuel, maintenance, and insurance. If people own a car, they have to pay many tax for their items.
I agree. There's a lot of different kind of tax you have to pay for your personal vehicles there. I agree. Okay, but public transportation, you really have no tax to pay for that because that's not yours, right? It's belong to the public. It belong to the state or the government.
Is symbolically
Yeah, very
about
simple.
about services. You
Mm,
do it and you pay for it at
I
all.
agree. I agree. If Vietnamese public transportation improves, I might sell my motorbikes. I might. And maybe using public transportation, I don't have to be afraid of the police on the roads or. But of course, you have to be very careful with thieves and criminals on public transportations. You know how bad it is when there are pickpockets on public buses, móc túi quá trời luôn trên xe bus mà công cộng á. There's a lot of them. Sometimes it just seems that they are always there, and the police cannot do anything about them. It's like that. Okay, so which mode of transportation do you prefer on any trip? Let's think about different kind of trips. Okay.
Modes of transportations that I prefer on any trip when mentioned to car or is cars is autonomous driving functions. I know that in a long trips will be very tired and boring.
Mhm.
So thanks to advancement of technologies, um, people can save time to monitor their vehicles all times in their trips.
That save time on their trips. I agree. Okay, so right. So any other trip you can mention? Like for example, sometimes if they are on a business trip, sometimes it's good to have your own car, and you drive your business partners. Nếu mà đi trên chuyến đi công tác các thứ trong thành phố đi thì nên có xe hơn để mà gọi là mình drive những cái người mà business partner, những cái người mà làm chung với mình đó, về công tác công chuyện á. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's better that way. Nó giống như một kệ một dạng mà mua mặt á. It's a way to keep face, giữ mặt giữ thể diện đó. So, uh, people always look down on people who go with public transportation, Con người ta luôn luôn giống như kiểu look down, giống như kiểu mà nhìn xuống, luôn luôn giống kiểu mà không tôn trọng những người đi phương tiện công cộng á, you know. But I don't think it's fair. Well, there are some trips that you should go with public transportation, especially when it's you bought like a monthly ticket, a month ticket, a season ticket, sorry, a season ticket or a monthly ticket. Vé tháng. I think it's called a season ticket or a month ticket for public transportation, or it's a pass. Nếu một cái pass là một tấm thẻ, một cái thẻ đi xe công cộng. It's a pass that you can use it for the whole month. So to be fair, if wherever you are going, there are a lot of metros and buses, and you are not in a hurry, maybe going with public transportation can be a good idea. Okay, so what do you think about traveling by plane? If you are on, let's say, a business trip to another city, for example, what do you think?
Of course, mm, traveling by planes is time consuming and it's very suitable for people who need to travel in a short time because um, their personal problems, for example. But of course, they have to pay a high price for their uh, traveling transportation because because traveling by planes is quite expensive.
Well, it depends also. I think if you travel a lot, you can be a member, you know. You can have a member card and you get a discount. You get a lot of discounts if you are a sorry, if you are a member of that airlines. Nếu mà là thành viên của cái hãng hàng không đó thì nhiều khi được giảm giá dữ lắm luôn nha. So they give you discounts a lot, you know. All right, I think we should end here. It's time. I have I have a customer for astrology right now. So I should be ready right now. Yeah. So I'll see you on Sunday, right?
Yes, on
All
Sunday.
right. I'll see you on Sunday. We have you have a writing, yeah. Okay, I'll see you on Sunday.
Yes. See
See
ya.
you. Bye.
Good night, teacher.
Good night. Good night.